Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini episode, I have two accounts, folks. One, once again, the Chicago Mothman has made his presence known, and another account with a Stingray UFO, a possible bioship. Let's get into the first article. Repeated gargoyle-like winged humanoid encounters near Stillman Valley, Illinois, and read exactly how the Mothman, or this gargoyle-like winged cryptid, was encountered. Between 2015 and 2016, a quiet stretch of rural Ogle County, Illinois, became the backdrop for a series of unsettling encounters with a massive winged humanoid. What makes this case significant is not a single sighting, but repeated encounters at the same location involving multiple witnesses over several years. The consistency in timing, appearance, and behavior raises serious questions about what may be inhabiting this area. I live near Rockford, Illinois, specifically in Stillman Valley in Ogle County. One night in 2015, my friend and I were driving around 3 to 4 a.m. when we saw a huge creature 7 to 10 feet tall with an enormous wingspan. We almost hit it with our car, but as it got closer, it flew straight up and over the top of the vehicle. It looked like a gargoyle. My friend and I exchanged shocked glances, both of us with our jaws dropped, and exclaimed, "Did you see that? What was that?" A year later, at the exact same location, my mom had a similar encounter with the gargoyle while driving me to the hospital because I had a terrible migraine. This also occurred early in the morning. I drove that same road every night for about a year in 2016 to take my girlfriend home, and in the exact same spot, we witnessed the creature together. In total, I've seen this gargoyle-like creature 3 times, and 3 other people have encountered it with me. The location is right in Gladney Brothers Trucking off Route 72 in Stillman Valley, Illinois, LJ. LJ had one hell of a streak of encounters with this entity, folks. Why is LJ encountering this Mothman-like cryptid entity, or winged humanoid, folks, in the same location, in the same spot? Is he perhaps of interest to these entities? Maybe they're studying him and his reaction to them, or are they trying to contact him in some odd manner? Or maybe his brain is on the same wavelength as these entities, and when he, is in, vicinity to them, he can see them, as well as other people will see them too, because they're near him. I don't know, folks. I have several ideas about this, but the fact that this man has had such a string of encounters with this winged humanoid makes me think that this entity is either interested in him, or maybe he's being haunted, perhaps. Maybe it's some sort of spirit, demon. I don't know. But the fact that it's happening in Illinois, where these Mothman encounters are taking place, is no coincidence. Perhaps this man is somehow affiliated with them. Maybe not consciously, but maybe somehow he's drawing their attention. And remember, folks, this might sound a bit different, but people who see Mothman or UFOs often see other cryptid entities as well. Now, this man's only seen these flying gargoyle entities, but he's seen them over and over again. As I said, maybe he's somehow charged with something, an energy that's allowing him, or somehow drawing them to him. Perhaps. We just don't truly know. All we can do is just guess at the real significance of this and these other encounters this man had. We also have to ask, has he seen ghosts or other entities, perhaps lights in the sky? Maybe that would explain why this man is seeing these entities over and over again. But, folks, let's move on to the next article. Massive stingray-shaped object and blinding flash witnessed over West Temple, Texas backyard. Let's get into this account, folks, and hear what happened in this encounter with a stingray-type UFO. Let's get into it now. During the early summer months of last year, a West Temple resident experienced an encounter that began with an unexplained flash of light and escalated into a close-range sighting of a massive, silent aerial form. The incident is notable not only for the clarity of the visual details, but for the profound claim that overcame the witness during the event. Encounters involving manta or stingray-shaped aerial objects are rare, but they recur with striking consistency across decades of reports. Now, let's read the actual story that goes along with this account now. Without warning, an extremely bright flash of light appeared directly in front of the witness, illuminating the grass near the edge of the deck. The light was estimated to be approximately 12 to 15 inches in diameter. It was intensely bright, comparable to a powerful camera flash fired at close range. Despite the intensity of the illumination, there was no sound at all, no impact, no movement on the roof, and no indication that anything physical had landed above. Believing the light may have originated from the roof, the witness stood and began moving backward into the yard while looking upward. It was then that they observed an enormous object slowly floating overhead. The object was described as perfectly shaped like a stingray. With a smooth organic form, its coloration was a mixture of light and dark gray, and its surface texture resembled that of a dolphin or a shark. The witness emphasized how close the object was, close enough to clearly discern surface details. Good for him, folks. It's rare that we get such details in these kinds of accounts, folks, especially with, manta or stingray type UFOs, because they're rarely seen. But the fact that he got such a good look at it is very, very good for us, folks, because we get a good idea of what this thing looked like from just our imaginations alone. Now, throughout the decades, folks, these manta and stingray type UFOs, it's been speculated by enthusiasts and UFO researchers alike that they're actually bioships and are actually alive. So, do you think this is the case here, folks? Let's read on, and we can discuss that and theorize about it after we finish off the article. The object's size was later estimated to be comparable to that of a small sedan. It moved silently and deliberately, gliding across the yard before banking and disappearing from view. Throughout the encounter, the witness reported an unusual emotional response. Instead of panic or fear, they experienced an overwhelming calm and a sense of awe. They described feeling almost frozen, not from fear, but from astonishment. This reaction stood in stark contrast to their usual response to stressful or frightening situations in which they typically flee immediately. That is very, very odd. This man says, this witness says they usually flee from any kind of conflict, perhaps even when they're arguing with family members. But here, they felt compelled to stay. At least they said they stood there in astonishment. So maybe something was, manipulating their minds, making them stay to witness this, folks. Because I get a feeling that, this response from the witness and the reaction to it wasn't the normal response that even they themselves say that they would normally have. It felt like they were being manipulated on some level. That's the feeling I get here. But let's read on now, folks. After the object passed, the witness attempted to follow it, but it had already turned and vanished. There were no other witnesses present. In the days that followed, the witness struggled with disbelief from others, despite their account remaining consistent. Eventually, they located an article describing a similar sighting. When comparing directions, the witness used a compass application and determined that the object they observed traveled along the exact same path as in the other report. Whether meaningful or coincidental, this discovery added to the experiencer's strangeness. So, maybe he observed an object that's basically passed through the same area before. Maybe there's some sort of base this object was going to, folks. Maybe to some large body of water, perhaps, where there is some sort of, perhaps UFO base under it or near it. Maybe there's just an opening, some sort of tunnel in this lake, or maybe somewhere in, the vicinity where this object was passing through, folks, and this is where this object was going. And it's been seen before in the same general location, on the same flight path. That is indeed something to consider, folks. So, what can we say about these encounters today, folks? They're very odd, to say the least. People keep encountering these Mothman-like entities up in Chicagoland, Illinois and the surrounding states. Now, remember, folks, I said that basically this object could have been going to some sort of base. Usually, these bases can be underwater, maybe in rivers or lakes. Now, I don't say that this object was heading to Chicago to go into basically Lake Michigan, but both accounts do mention, or basically they're in areas where basically you could basically surmise maybe that there is some way these objects were going to large bodies of water. Not that basically this object, this manta ray, was going to a large body of water. We can only just surmise. But if you think about it, folks, it was a stingray-shaped object, a UFO that could be a bioship, so water would be the best place for it, wouldn't it? Either way, folks, odds stray, but we're now at the end. But please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics, they're bad for you. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to go subscribe to me. Now, please, hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure at the part of the bell they'll give you all future notifications. And please, share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so make sure to come back again then. Till next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.